Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Looks like we got another Monday Market Coin Report, this time for the week ending February 23rd of 2020. Hope everyone's having a great evening, a joyous rest of your weekend. And, yeah, everything's looking good so far with the coin market. Of course, this is generally the busier time of the year for collectible coins. So we're going to see definitely a lot more interest in the marketplace as a result. And what we got going on here today is anything else but typical. Usually I talk about coins coming from eBay or maybe great collections. These are normal weekly kind of auctions that we see and talk about this week, going into the next 14 days or somewhere around there. We are going to see a myriad of different auctions, okay? And the first one is coming to a close, and that's going to be the Heritage Auctions Long Beach Expo, okay, which ran from the 20th to the 23rd. Today's the last day. Generally, the coins reserved for the last day are going to be the lower dollar value coins, so, you know, somewhere in that $500 to $2,500 range, but a lot of the big action happened the first day or two. So what I did was I compiled a list of 20 coins, all encompassing coins from the 1900s, the 20th century type coins that I feel like kind of made a little bit of an impact for this past week. I'm not going to be talking about any eBay or great collection sales because this is a quite stout list of coins to kind of review over. And as you'll see, yeah, there's a few surprising sales that took place during this auction. But before we go ahead and get started, first of all, I'm going to have my mouse pointer on screen. So, you know, if there's any sort of details that I need to focus in on or hone in on, you're going to see my mouse pointer, and it'll help you guys identify exactly what in the world I'm talking about. The second point I'd like to make is, as always, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notification. If you're brand new, welcome. Glad to have you on board for this one video. And this is something I do every week, all right, as a way of kind of gauging the interest of coins. Primarily the newer coins of the 1900s and 2000s. So that way, you know, if you guys are interested in getting into any of those particular dates or decades, you'll see how the market kind of twists and turns, goes with the flow. So anyways, enough of the small talk. Let's go ahead and get into the first coin on the list. And this beauty right here is the 1919D. This was actually one of the preview coins that I took a look at on my video a few days ago for the Long Beach Expo. Now this one right here is a very pretty coin. It's a PCGS Mint State 66 Plus full red. The earliest days of the Lincoln sets, as you can see, are very well struck. Where else do you find Lincoln with a full beard, you know, with full hair details? This was pretty common during the not only 1909 first date of the Lincoln set, but also the corresponding decade after, which is the 19 teens. All right, so this 1919D is not a rare coin. It is not a low mintage coin. This is actually one of the more available dates and mint marks that you could find from the teens. Now this one right here sold for a healthy number. As a matter of fact, it's the most expensive Lincoln cent to come from the Long Beach sale. All right, this one sold for $13,800, and it has every bit to do with the grade. These later teens dates, or any, I guess any coin from the first 10, 11 years of the Lincoln cent series, the survival rate of high-grade specimens, much like you see here, is extremely low. So you're just not going to find too many examples that exhibits just the sharp beauty, the preservation of the coin itself. You know, there's not a whole lot of problems on there. You know, a few little carbon spots, but those are apropos for this kind of age of Lincoln cent. So that's the first coin on the list from the Expo. Pretty nice example. And there's a coin in the slab. It's a CAC certified coin, and the coin is rotated in the slab. So I don't, it doesn't look like an early generation of slab, which, it's kind of funny. And it's not a rattler, okay, an early old rattler holder, which generally the coins can spin inside because they don't have that silicone holder holding the coin in place. So this is kind of funny. The next coin on the list is quite a surprising one. It's 1942S Lincoln Wheat Cent. This particular date right here, graded PCGS Mid-State 68 full red. It is one of probably the top 5 sellers for the Lincoln Cent series during the Long Beach Expo, hosted by Heritage Auctions. This is an incredibly high grade, okay, 68 red. You just don't see them that often for coins as recent as the 42S. So because of that, it's sold for $7,200. You guys are probably wondering who in the world would spend that kind of money on this coin. As I've prefaced before, time and time again, there is an elite group of collectors that buy these and pay all the money in the world for the top end, highest graded specimens for their registry sets. So they'll go ahead and submit, their registry set on PCGS or NGC. It's a points-based system. Pretty much it's more for bragging rights, but at the same time, it's like you're assembling a super high-end set. So you want the finest graded of every single coin, and that's where you kind of get some of these very aggressive bidding strategies on these coins, is when you have maybe 3 or 4 registry set owners who are looking to either add this piece to their registry set or do an upgrade. Maybe someone has just a straight up 67 or 67 plus, and they want this example. And that's the main reason why it's sold for this kind of money. It's pretty crazy. So here's the same coin in the slab holder, this time not rotated, but as you can see, Mid-State 68 full red, pretty prominent on that label. This is an incredible coin. Alright, so what do we have here? We have another coin that probably doesn't look as nearly attractive as the 42S preceding it. It's a 53, it's a business strike coin. Very high mintage, many millions, if not hundreds of millions of this particular date were minted at the time. But what you got to know about this coin is there's not a whole lot of examples of the Philadelphia minted 1950s, especially from like 1950 to about 54. So finding examples that exceed like a Mid-State 65 red is tough. Now, when you get into the top pop grades like a Mid-State 67, which is what this one is, that's where all of the value is kind of like wrapped into it. All right, this is also a CAC certified coin, as you can tell from this green sticker right here. And this one, this evening, or a few days ago, sold for $3,840. Now, we did see a 53 that sold last week through Great Collections that eclipsed the $10,000 mark. I think that one was a 67 plus CAC certified example. So even still, you could see the price difference by that half a point jump up from this example here sold on Heritage Auctions to the one that sold on Great Collections a week ago. Pretty huge jump in price. It's incredible. But there you go. That's the 53 for you. So we have this one here. It's a 70S Lincoln Memorial Cent. Not a typical kind of coin that you normally see on here, unless there are a few things that were noteworthy. Okay, so for 70S, as we all know, there's a large date and a small date. However, this example is a large date, but with the large date, you have the opportunity to find the coveted doubled die obverse. Number 1, it's a cherry picker's guide variety. You could see a lot of the spread in the first couple letters of Liberty and then all on the motto. This is a very strong, a very powerful double die. Like I've always said, if it wasn't for the 69S, as we all know, that's like the king of kings when it comes to Lincoln Memorial varieties, this one would undoubtedly be the king through it all. Now this one right here is an NGC Mid-State 65 red-brown. The grade-wise, it's nothing to write home to mother about, but, you know, it is a nice, healthy high grade. You have, you know, this incredible variety on the actual coin itself. And keep in mind, there's a carbon spot here. So the buyer of the coin should probably keep an eye on that carbon spot. Hopefully it doesn't enlarge, because keep in mind, this coin is graded, it's encapsulated, so it's going to hold in everything. Everything that's attached to that coin, you know, before it got slabbed is also in there too. So we're going to, you know, hopefully that carbon spot doesn't get bigger or nastier, because, you know, those things fester just like rust on steel. Now this one right here is sold for $2,340 during the sale. So the final Lincoln set I want to talk about is one that always kind of like draws a lot of attention to folks who like to search proof sets. The proof sets from this era, I guess, late 80s, early 90s, can be had very affordably. We're talking $8 to $10 in most cases. The Lincoln set, however, there was supposed to be an S mint mark. All the proof coins during this time had that S mint mark, and they were produced in San Francisco. Now, there are a number of them that can be found within the proof set that does not have the mint mark. Call it just a general omission of adding the mint mark to the master die, or possibly a strike through of some sort. But there is absolutely no mint mark on here. So this is the highly desired no S proof Lincoln set. This is an NGC Proof 69, and this one sold for $2,880 during the sale. Alright, and then there's the slabbed label NGC, again, no S, Lincoln cent. Keep an eye out for something like this. Alright, we're going to go ahead and dive right into nickels. We have a few of them, but I wanted to talk about probably one of the most iconic pieces out there, and that's going to be the 1937D three-legged Buffalo nickel. Okay, so as we can see right here, we have an obvious omission of the front leg, the foreleg, that you see on coin from Black Diamond. Now, this is from die abrasion. Alright, it's just an over polishing of the die at this particular spot on the coin or the die, and it has translated into a buffalo that has only three legs. Alright, so this one right here is incredibly high-graded PCGS Mid-State 66. Keep in mind, this coin is old. It's over 80 years old. So to find coins of this caliber, of this particular variety, in grades above and beyond like a 63 or 64 can be a little challenging. But, you know, people are still cherry-picking coins of this grade type. This one right here sold for $32,400, and yes, that's pretty much normal for coins like this. Now, Heritage had sold a few different grades of this coin. I believe they had a 63 and a 64. The 64 eclipsed like $11,000, $12,000, somewhere in that region. So that's a nice, healthy value if you're kind of comparing how much these coins go for in, you know, a little bit lesser grade. Then, you know, you're still in excess of $10,000. So a really pretty coin, one of which is, you know, when a nice high-grade specimen such as this comes to the marketplace, you better believe there's going to be a number of bidders that are going to be waging war to own this thing. And there you go. Three legs, Mid-State 66. All right, so we got a few J nickels here. This 52D... Alright, is a really nice toned example, in spite of the couple carbon spots that you see here. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 67. It does exhibit full steps on the label, as you can see right here on Monticello and on the slab label. So this is a really nice high-graded specimen. This one sold for $4,920 through the sale. The next one we have here is going to be a 53S. Always perennially one of the toughest dates to find with a full strike. As you can see right here, I mean, it looks pretty good on its face. A very tough grade, a very tough nickel. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 65, okay? And it looks every bit the part of a 65 full stepper. You have this really mushy strike, all right? Yet somehow the steps on Monticello were probably re-engraved at one point, so that way it strikes up nice and strong. But as you can see, you get a lot of die flow, a lot of premature die wear on this particular example. And you get a few nicks and scratches on the highest spots of the coin, like the cheeks and the cheekbone and everything like that. So this one right here sold for $7,500 this past week. Incredible piece. Again, another registry set. It's not advisable to invest in something like this if you're not in the registry set program. And that's my stance on Jefferson nickels all around. It's not what I would consider to be a highly investable piece because of what they are. All right, so anyways, we got that one right there. Mid-State 65 full steps. All right, so the next one we have here is another tougher date. It's 57D. This one is a little bit stronger struck than the previous example. Denver Mint Mark here. You got some nice steps here. Bottom step appears to be a little bit soft. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 66 full steps. It is also a plus designation coin, so it's a half a grade higher than a regular 66. This one sold for $1,200. All right, there is a 67 that does exist in this particular coin, date-wise or grade-wise, with full steps. So this one right here is a nice example. It's just a step under what the top-graded example could be. But when we're talking thousands of dollars, it's like, what are you willing to kind of settle for? And to a lot of people, this coin is will work. In those particular instances. All right, so we have a tough one here. This is a 63. This has always been on my list of like top 5 ridiculously toughest dates to find full steps, okay, much like you see right here. Now, this particular example is not a stunning kind of exemplary example, all right? As we can see, it's got, some nicks and scratches, planchet marks on a few of the high areas, but it graded 67 through NGC. NGC does grade a hair more conservative than PCGS, or actually, they grade a little bit better, but this one, they did assign 5 full steps and not 6 full steps, which that's where a ton of the value is kind of absorbed into. This one here still sold for $3,600. All right, again, it's going to continue to be one of those really tough dates to find, even though you could buy BU rolls of this particular date out there for under $10. You're going to have a hard time finding really striking examples that will grade out with full steps designation. All right, and the last nickel on the bunch here is going to be a 70S. Okay, this is a little bit tougher date, for not only full steps, but just finding one that's like nice high grade. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 66 full steps. You do have, a bunch of little high wear, these nicks right here. One here in the field, few little planchet doodads. I mean, the planchet was not very good quality on this coin even before the strike, and you can see all these little nicks all over the place. Those planchet nicks are a monster, and they're very evident on this coin. 66 full steps, all right, and then this particular example sold for $3,240. That seems like a lot for a coin that's barely 50 years old. But yeah, sure enough, this coin sold for all the money. All right, how about a little Mercury dime action? Okay, and I figured there's no better coin to talk about than the big variety in this particular series. I always love this coin. Now, this one right here is an absolute monster, okay? It's the 42 over 1 over date that you see in not only the Red Book, you know, on a regular basis, but also like in the Cherry Picker's Guide. You're going to see this there. This is a fully featured coin, and this is a favorite to a lot of not only Mercury dime collectors, but variety specialists as well. Now, this one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 63 full split bands. Okay, so, you know, it does have full bands on the top and bottom. This one right here, it probably looks better in hand, but this one looks a little flat with some interruption in there. So, you know, I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not this is a legit full split bands coin, but, you know, we're just going to have to take the graders at what they believe, you know, this coin is assigned at. So this one's here sold for $12,000. Okay, it's worth every penny and every dime. This is always going to be one of the most desirable coins in U.S. history. All right, pretty nice example here. And there's the Slabbed PCGS 63 full bands, 42 over 1. Now, this is probably one of my favorite coins to talk about this evening. Okay, it's just a basic run-of-the-mill 1945S. Only this one exhibits a lot of original toning on there, not only on the obverse, but also the reverse as well. All right, it's a very nice targeted bullseye type toning, especially on the reverse, because you have virtually no toning in the center. This one right here is, get this, an NGC Mid-State 68. This is an incredibly high-graded specimen. It is also full split bands, and this one sold for $2,640. Okay, truly marvelous piece. A great investment type example here. All right, and even without the true view kind of like photography, the color is still apparent even in this scanned image from Heritage Auctions in the holder. All right, so we got a few quarters to talk about here. How about 51D? Not rare. It is a coin that was produced in the millions. This one exhibits some nice obverse kind of yellow and russet brown toning on there. Gives it a lot of originality. But where this one really hits it home is going to be in the grade. It's a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus, CAC certified coin, and it's a very original old piece. Okay, and this one sold for $3,000. Again, another registry set example. That's going to be in there. This one is a 1954D Washington quarter. This one here exhibits all sorts of crusty toning. Collectors eat up coins that exude this kind of originality. It's always been like that for many years, probably since the turn of the century. These have been a targeted bunch of coins, and they're still out there. But finding some that, you know, show quite a bit of like original toning on there, I guess, is a little bit tough. This is a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus CAC Green Bean stickered, and this one sold for $9,000. And yes, another registry set piece. All right, so we have a coin that I'm sure every single one of us has owned. Okay, probably not to this level. It's a 61D. This is a PCGS Mid-State 67, so it's a nice high grade. It shows a little bit of edge toning on this coin. The only thing that I don't like about it are the kind of like the bag marks that you see here. There's a few nicks here, and a little bit of high wear on this bottom curl of his hair next to his ear. But all in all, this one sold for $4,560. All right, yes, the market does command this kind of money for coins that look quite like this. And there you go. That's the slabbed image. All right, so we have a few left here. This particular quarter, okay, beware. You're not going to be able to just find this anywhere. It's a 1999 Georgia statehood quarter. Now, the thing about this coin, I don't know if you guys remember, back 21 years ago, when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with the new golden dollar planchet. It's the manganese-based planchet that that the U.S. Mint would use on the Sacagawea dollars, they actually experimented with it on statehood quarters. Now, there's been a few examples that have gone out, since then, and they have been discovered, they have been tested, and subsequently graded and then sold for thousands of dollars. Well, here's another example. Okay, so this Georgia is indeed a manganese experimental planchet. It's going to appear golden color, much like the Sacagawea dollars do. It's a PCGS Mint State 65, and this example sold for $2,160. And there you go. Struck on experimental planchet. It's a mint error. All right, so we only have a couple half dollars. This one right here, this 41S, okay, the mint mark is on the reverse here, is not what you would consider to be, like a big draw coin. It's not like it's a 1916 or a 21 or even a 38D, which are the key dates of the series. However, San Francisco minted coins during some of the most highly produced dates during the 40s are really tough to find with a strong strike. Now, this one right here is an NGC Mint State 67. A few of the things that you're going to kind of draw your attention to when you're looking at San Francisco coins from the 40s is going to be the formation of the hand and this part of the where Lady Liberty is holding onto the sprig of olive branches. All right, if you could clearly define this area and you could define the hand, then you have a really well-struck coin. Now again, it's a Mint State 67. It's a high-grade example. Finding these beyond 63 or 64 is really tough. I've personally owned a 64, and they're worth a few $100s just in that grade. So this one right here sold for $5,766, which doesn't seem right because it's a very populous date in terms of its production. Quite a few of these were made, but so few of them exist with nice, strong details in there. And there you go, Mint State 67, NGC. Now this is a 1959 Franklin half dollar proof coin, okay, and the reason why that this one is on here is because it is a deep cameo graded specimen. It's a PCGS proof 67 DCAM. It's also CAC certified as notated on the slab label. Straight and simple, you gotta love coins like this. This coin can be had from a proof set that can be purchased for between $22 to $25 all day long. It's a common proof set as far as date. But finding coins that look like this, where you have like nice frosty devices, like the profile of Franklin, along with all of the letters and numbers and the dates, can be a little bit challenging. Okay, and because of that, we have a coin here as a proof 67 DCAM sold for $22,800. Yeah, your $25 investment can turn into a brand new car just like that. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the Monday market report with this coin that you see here. Now, I talked about the 99 quarter. Now, the U.S. Mint also experimented with this new manganese alloy planchet on the Susan B. Anthony dollars on the final date, which is the 1999. Now, this one is a Philadelphia coin, much like the Georgia State quarter that we saw a few minutes ago. So Philadelphia's facility experimented with the new alloy on also these Susan B. Anthony's. This one right here was struck on a Sacagawea planchet. It's a PCGS Mint State 65. Some of you are probably going to ask, I have one that looks quite like this. How do I know if it's the real thing? Usually, if you took it to a jeweler or a coin shop that has access to the XRF machines, it looks like a big old handgun that they use to test the purity of gold and silver and various other precious metals. They'll be able to identify without question exactly this planchet is. So this coin right here sold for $12,000. Yes, these coins are extremely expensive. They're very valuable. Not sure exactly where you find stuff like this, whether it's in a fresh mint, mint bag, along with a bunch of other regular copper nickel clad Susan B. Anthony's. It's been a very unpopular series for the few years that it was released from 79 to 81 and then to 1999. So there's probably not a whole lot of people that are actually searching through old canvas bags of these Susan B. Anthony's, but generally you'll find some pretty interesting errors in these bags, especially when they come directly from the Federal Reserve Bank. So, yeah, this is a tremendous coin. Of course, your Susan B. Anthony is going to be gold in color, much like the Sacagawea dollars from the first few years. But yeah, $12,000 sale. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and conclude the Monday Market Coin Report for the week ending February 23rd. So we have another week left in February. We're running through the year as quickly as we started. Pretty crazy that we're almost 2 months into the new year. And we're seeing all sorts of great stuff in the marketplace. I want to thank you guys for joining in on this one. As always, like, share, subscribe. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. As always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. You guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Don't work so hard, and I'll see you on the next one.